because I was a comedy writer for 25 years, I didn't use my body except to eat chicken. If they make this movie, Conan, Smigel, Sandler, David Spade, Dana Carvey, these people are going to be like, what happened? What happened?
Hello. Welcome to Seen on the Screen from Make It Universal and Rotten Tomatoes. I'm Jacqueline Coley. We sit down with the people behind the stories that move us and ask, what have you seen on the screen that made an impact? My guest today is the star of Nobody 2, Bob Odenkirk. Mr. Bob Odenkirk, sir, welcome to Seen on the Screen.
Oh, happy to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
So I have to ask everyone this question,
Yes.
even though it feels very strange to ask you this, but who are you and what do you do with NBC Universal? How are you involved?
Hi, my name is Bob Odenkirk. It's not a good name for a movie actor, TV actor. It's a terrible, clunky name. I was never meant to do this, but somehow it happened. I should have a cool name. We can work on that. I've been part of the NBC Universal family for my whole career. I was hired at Saturday Night Live as a writer when I was 25. And so for almost 40 years now, I've been using my National Rent-A-Car, my NBC code discount. Even though I've worked at other places, I still rent a car under my NBC deal. Still, even to this day, through National. So that shows you. I wrote for Saturday Night Live for years. I've been in many, many NBC shows and now many Universal films, and I've directed Universal films. And so my association with this studio in particular has been the longest of my life.
Wow. I love that so much. And shout out. I hope they sponsor you after that. I
Oh,
really
National?
do. I'm like, they need to put you in a car.
Well, they never question it. I always get the NBC rate.
I think they're owed. Like, just look at the billboards. Like, I'm so excited to talk to you about this. We're back with Nobody 2. And that was like this delightful thing that I needed right when I really needed a movie that made me feel like, oh, this is a movie.
Yeah. It is like a classic movie, right? You know you're watching a movie when you're watching Nobody.
And we're going to talk about sort of like the origins of it, but I'd be curious for you, what was it like to become an action hero of your own invention, I might add? Because I do feel like some people, they might say they became an accidental action hero. No, you're like, no, I wanted this.
Yeah. For much of the preparation, and I prepared for years, and I know they always say that in interviews, but I really did. And I was happy to do it because I was getting older and I was like, this is a chance to get in good shape. And, but for much of it, I thought, is this some kind of prank I'm pulling on the world and on Universal? I tricked them, but then they tricked me because it worked out. And now I have to / get to do more. But there was an element of like, this isn't going to work, but man, this is going to be funny. This is going to be funny to talk about that time I made an action. I swindled Hollywood into letting me make an action movie. But I did it earnestly. I wanted to succeed. And also in Nobody 1, even though my inspiration, one of the many, but one of the core inspirations was Jackie Chan and Police Story in particular, a film that I watched with my kids when they were younger and we all loved. And has no blood in it. Jackie never uses a gun. So even though the violence in Nobody 1 is harsher, I guess you could say more modern, but it's more intense by a lot, I felt I had to do that too. I had to commit and go for the, intense, remarkable violence because I was asking people to go on this adventure with me and I'm already somebody you underestimate. Yeah. And if I went at it gently, softly, if I worked around it, I think you'd go like, well, come on, man, you're either doing it or you're not,
Speaking of which, though, I do think it's interesting because even your path to Hollywood, since you said that you've now scammed them, so, take the money and run with
it's
the
always
sequel.
a scam.
Yeah. I think it's so interesting because you had this just like cool sort of like comedy career, but I'm just curious for you, what was the first movie that made you say, I think I can do this?
Well, Monty Python, the TV show, is what made me think I desperately want to do this. And there was something about that show, the silliness married with the smarts of it, the criticism of society, the criticism of adults, really, which really resonated with me, really called to me. I mean, I grew up in a house that had its traumas and challenges, and it had a lot of love and a lot of humor in it, too. 7 kids, and we were always making each other laugh. And my mom was very funny, even though she was very strict Catholic. She also was very funny. And my dad was this difficult, uncertain element. And so Python was like an answer to all the tension in my world. It told me that the adults don't know what they're doing, which is a great message for kids at a certain point to go like, oh, they're just guessing at what to do and how to be. And it lets you exhale a little and go, oh, they don't know what they're doing either. Okay, well, I mean, I don't have to feel as judged and all by them.
Oh, that's a great one. All right, I've got my trusty popcorn bucket. And inside here, we have some quotes.
Okay.
From films that you've hopefully seen on the screen and you will recognize.
Hopefully.
I am not going to do this in the accent that it deserves because I'm sitting next to an improv god, but know that I do know this accent. Your mother was a hamster and your father smelt of elderberries. What movie is that from?
I don't know, but you tell me. It's a great quote. Can I read it? Your mother was a hamster and your father smelt of elderberries. Okay, Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Of course, that line is perfect in that movie. Python and the Holy Grail is masterful and produced by George Harrison's company, Handmade Films, which also made Withnell and I, one of the great films that inspires me still. I still watch it. I just watched it in HD. Do you know it?
That's Richard Grant, right?
That's right.
I love him in that. That was his big break. I love that movie.
Boy, you know a lot of movies. See, I wouldn't guess that you would know Withnell and I. It's a great film.
It is, yeah. Richard E. Grant. Sorry, I don't want to.
Yes, Richard E. Grant and the director and writer Bruce Robinson.
Yes.
Yeah. You know, George Harrison started this film company because he wanted to see Monty Python and the Holy Grail, so he had to make it. So he had to start a film company to make it. And what's cool about the Holy Grail film is that it's got sketches in it, but it's very hard to do. I tried to do a sketch movie with my friend David Cross where we did a narrative story with sketches in it. We did not succeed. It's called Run, Ronnie, Run. You can see it. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. We tried. These guys did it. They pulled it off. There's a story, and you follow that story, and there are 3-minute sketches that really can make you laugh just on their own within that. It's really great and fun to watch still, and I would argue they did the same thing with Life of Brian. They did it again. And they have animations in these films, which is insane that they go from, live action to animation. Those guys are the best. What a crew. Yeah.
Terry did most of those animations too, which I think is great.
Terry Gilliam did them. Yes, he did. And they're totally watchable within the world of the film.
The opening of that is one of my favorite gig bits.
Yeah.
Like, we have now killed the silly intro people. All right, here we go. I'm not saying I'm going to be a good lawyer.
Right.
But I will be a successful lawyer.
So Saul Goodman.
Definitely.
Yeah.
We can't not talk about this. Also, sir, that is just, how long in total did you play Saul?
14 years on and off. Because on Breaking Bad, he was a ensemble member. He was not in every episode. He was in most, But he would pop in for 3 minutes, per episode, maybe a little more. I know that of that time that I worked on Breaking Bad, I only think I spent a week and a half there one time. Otherwise, I would come in, do a scene or two, and leave. And then, of course, Better Call Saul was all me all the time. That was a lot of work. And so I played this guy for 14 years. And I can't believe I got to do that. Yeah. I didn't ask to do it. I didn't audition for it. During Breaking Bad, the first time I did the character in a scene with someone else, the second scene that I shot with me and Bryan Cranston, somewhere in the first half hour of shooting it, one of the crew members said, "Can I get a job on the sequel?" And everyone laughed. Meaning, can I get a job on the Saul show? Which, that was the first time I did it in front of a group. And then from that point on, it was kind of like a joke. When is Saul going to have his own show? And then every year, and I was there from year 2 to year 6 on Breaking Bad, Vince Gilligan would take me aside once and say, "What do you think about that? Do you think Saul could have his own show?" And Vince was the person who created Breaking Bad. And I would say, "Look, man, if you think, then I guess yes. But do I have an opinion on it? Not really." I felt so lucky to do it at all. And it just wasn't my focus. I was a writer. I was a writer.
Yeah.
And a lot of people maybe watching know that I primarily was a writer. And so the whole thing was this adjunct career that I was doing because they asked me to, and it was fun.
Yeah. And man, how many millions of viewers and an iconic role that now you'll be in the middle of Timbuktu and somebody will understand. Hey, that's Saul Goodman. Better Call Saul.
Well, the thing about it is, and this is true of a lot of people in the world, you have the thing that you love and you pursue, and maybe you're good at it or good enough at it. And then if you keep your eyes open, I always tell young people, try to have good peripheral vision. If people like you in a certain venue or a job that maybe isn't your first choice, try to respect that, and maybe you can do it and be really great at it. How many actors do you know who try to have a band? And you're like, can you just act? You're really good there. Can you not? And then every interview they do is like, I'm actually more of a musician. All right. Can you stop? No, you're not. You're not. Do you know what I mean?
I do,
so
but I'm not going to say it.
In my case, I think I did pretty well as a comedy writer. I'm very proud of what I did.
Yes.
And I would keep doing it, and I am doing it. I'm writing more. But I recognize that there's certain roles, and there are a certain kind of role, and they tend to be in drama where I'm the funniest character in the drama. So like I'm still grounded, and that is my natural energy. And I have some facility to emote and work within a certain range. And I think that the other thing that I have, if I could try to be objective about myself, is, my favorite comedy performers, have been and are Jack Black, Chris Farley. I love Will Ferrell on screen. My friend David Cross, I find hilarious. People who, when you first see them on, Melissa McCarthy is a great example. You first see them on screen, you smile. Yeah. You smile right away. You know this is going to be fun. I am not that. That's great in drama. In drama, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I come on screen and you go, this guy might be up to no good. He might be awful. He might be a good guy. He's trying. That's good in drama. That's good to make people uncertain and curious. So
that's a very astute self-observation. You're like, because I just
feel like
realized
I've always
that.
known that about myself, because I spent so many years in comedy and loving comedy and knowing while I was doing it, I am not the funniest person on screen right now. I'm on screen with David Cross. I'm on screen with, Jill Talley, maybe people you've not heard of, but they're very good comic actors.
Yeah.
And if I'm in the audience, I'm watching them, not me. But it's okay because I bring this other element, and that's worth something too. Trying to be, without being cruel to yourself, trying to be objective about what you're good at, what you bring to things is a real effort you have to try to make, I think.
Man, I mean, it's a gift because, I mean, even something like, where I'm thinking of like, but there's been so many things I loved you in, like, even when you come and guest star on something like Arrested Development as the therapist.
That show is filled with funny people who are just funny
but
right
you bring
off the
something
get-go.
to it of like, it was the turn of you started as serious and then when you went into the comedic, I mean, you had me cracking up. And well,
that's good. I'm glad I did. It's meant to be a pure comedy show, but I just think if you could try to recognize, no matter what you think you want to bring to people, if you can try to recognize how they experience you. And I think weirdly, Nobody and the Nobody films are almost like the perfect place for my energy. The first film came together very organically, and the ways in which that character has a lot of impacted frustration with his world are his own fault.
Hold on one second. This quote you might recognize. Give me the goddamn kitty cat bracelet.
Motherfucker.
Period. Yes, sir. So
Isn't
that is
a fun line.
It is such a fun line.
To be that mad about a kitty cat bracelet. It is so fun. And that's the humor of the movie, too. It is funny. It's funny because he means it. He is that angry about that little nothing thing. And every parent who has looked for a kitty cat bracelet because their daughter's crying and they've misplaced one more thing yet again, and maybe the parent misplaced it, and it's just one more little tiny tension that breaks the camel's back of your patience, of your steadiness. Every parent who hears the line, "Give me the goddamn kitty cat bracelet, motherfucker," with a gun in the scene, is like, that's me looking in the back seat of the station wagon or the van, trying to find the small thing that really will satisfy my child and calm everything down and be one less thing that I lost today. That's that being blown up and put on the screen. And so the core story of Nobody is taking a very relatable, I hope, tension of life, I mean, how life gets you when you're a parent and you have to juggle schedules and life and your emotions and your own needs, but you have to really live for this project called family. And it's letting them explode, letting it out on a world that deserves it, which is to say, the big invented world of film, cinema, bad guys. In our movie, you get to go to that place with that common, relatable rage and frustration.
One of the things I think I really love about Nobody is, even though it is modern, it really does feel like a throwback to everything that comes before. And that really did start with you. I mean, you mentioned Jackie Chan, and he just recently came out and said, as long as I'm still alive, I'm going to be doing action movies like this. And I think that's sort of like in the DNA of how you approached your preparation for it. I know you've talked a lot about it, but it is phenomenal and kind of noteworthy.
Well, okay, so because I was a comedy writer for 25 years, I didn't use my body except to eat chicken at lunch. You have a fairly sedentary life when you're a comedy writer. You are sitting in a room, usually with other people. Your feet are up on a table. And as long as you don't eat too many snacks, it's unused. I didn't break it because I didn't use it. So I worked out like a normal person, twice a week for 45 minutes. But I was in pretty good shape. I'm like, I could get this body into shape. I didn't break it. So I started training. I knew it would be hard. I knew I'd be bored because I don't like it. But I was less bored than I thought because of who trained me. Daniel Bernhardt, one of the great stunt actors of our generation. He's been in every movie. If you see action movies, you've seen Daniel 100 times. And he just gave me free training for all the time I needed as we prepared this film and wrote it and tried to get it going. And I was willing to do it. And I was bored, but I was less bored than I thought. And the reason is because I had an interesting workout. And when you combine fighting with the workout, now you're engaging your brain.
Yeah.
And that is awesome. So if you hate working out and you're bored with it, see if you can move into a boxing workout or something where you have to pay attention and you can't just do this for a half an hour. You have to think and watch and be connected. It's just a way more interesting workout. And so that's what we do. And a lot of people know I had a heart attack, and I've talked about this. The degree to which I worked out helped me survive that heart attack.
Oh, wow.
Because it enlarged a couple veins near my heart. So when I got CPR, my heart was still getting blood. Wow. And to the degree that it isn't scarred at all.
Wow.
Even though I was, out for like 15 minutes, a long time, I was getting CPR that whole time. And my heart it should have lots of scar tissue on it. It has none.
Wow.
Yeah.
So thanks to nobody.
Thanks to nobody. So a lot of my training that I'm talking about here was financed by, endorsed by, made possible by 87 North, a production company that is making lots of action films, great action, overseen by Kelly McCormick and David Leitch, who are legendary in this genre. In the course of training, I had two thoughts. One, they're never going to make this movie, but I'm getting free exercise training for years. Okay. And two, if they make this movie and I'm any good at all in it, my friends from comedy
are going to lose it.
They're going to go like, what world do I live in? This is Bob Odenkirk, the guy I wrote comedy at Saturday Night Live with, at Mr. Show with, at all these many, many venues. What is he doing in an action movie? How did he get in there? What lottery ticket did he buy?
Who's been your best reaction like that? Like, I know
Conan O'Brien. We were just talking to Conan. He was like, it's unbelievable. I go, you don't realize Sandler also. The whole time I'm training, 50 of these, 80 of these. I'm going, if they make this movie, Conan, Smigel, Sandler, David Spade, Dana Carvey, these people are going to be like, what happened? What happened? How is that possible? That can't be.
Invite them all to the premiere.
And they've all had that reaction, and it makes me so happy.
I love it.
And it really is like a prank I pulled on the whole world.
I love it. All right, let's dive into the trivia. True or false? The 1983 film National Lampoon's Vacation, known for the song Holiday Road, which was used in the Nobody 2 trailer, helped boost the profile and sales of the station wagon.
I believe that's true. I think almost anything in a movie boosts the sales.
Okay, so actually, no. It apparently, because of how uncool Chevy Chase was, I guess, station wagon sales plummeted after the film's release.
Well, I hope we don't hurt the cars that we drove in Nobody 2, because they're really nice.
I do have to talk about National Lampoon's Vacation, though,
sure,
because that is like kind of an iconic movie in the sense of
I would like it if people watched Vacation and then Nobody 2.
I was going to say.
Or Nobody 2, then go home and watch Vacation.
Because
then go back and see Nobody 2 again.
I think the thing with Nobody 2, for folks that haven't spied already, is you are on vacation. It's very similar to the first film. You were in this moment of discovering there's bad people. You feel a bit of put upon, and then you go off onto the adventures.
Okay, so look, the trick with Nobody, and it was true in the first film, is that our character, Hutch Mansell, he has something that enrages him, frustrates him, that he's angry at, and he's going to let his rage out. But the first place he takes it to is not the place that deserves that much anger. So in this case, it's the arcade, which sets him off, and he lets loose. He's misplaced his rage, and then that comes back to bite him, and he gets involved in a bigger thing that he didn't want to do, get involved in anything. But that's his own fault because he cut loose. And of course that happens in the bus scene. He's very happy to do it. He's very happy to kick ass and get and fight. But he creates all kinds of danger for himself from that choice. But in the duck boat fight is where I got to do like clever fighting that isn't just kind of angry and intense, which is super fun, and I'm good at it. But I wanted to do the kind of fighting that I love seeing in, I always reference it, Police Story or any of those early Jackie Chan films.
Rumble in the Bronx stuff. All right, I like that. Oh,
yeah, well, and the earlier ones, Drunken Master.
Yeah, that's even better.
Yeah.
I did want to talk about this too, because I think in this one, you brought in some of your previous Nobody co-stars, people like Connie.
We have the whole cast back together. It's amazing. Christopher Lloyd kicks ass. We had all-night shoots. Chris Lloyd is there, awake, ready to go, laughing, smiling all night long.
I love it.
Connie Nielsen as Becca, and she kicks ass in this film. And
literally.
She does. We have the RZA, who's just the greatest joy to be around, loves action films, makes action films, is a director of action films, and is, brings the best energy to set and brings skills to set. And we have the kids from the first film, Gage Monroe and Paisley Catarath. And that's an amazing thing, is that we have the same kids playing the same parts, and they're the perfect age again for this movie, because it's meant to be 4 years later. And it is 4 years since we made the first film. And then we have new cast members that are amazing. We have Colin Hanks, who, is the nicest, sweetest guy with a very gentle, sweet visage face, plays an awful, evil character. John Ortiz, great actor, comes in Nobody 2 and plays a wonderful counterpart to Hutch. And of course, Sharon Stone, which is amazing. Yes, we can't believe we got her. We can't believe she's here also to kick ass. She showed up ready to rock, and she does.
That action scene that she does in Total Recall is by far one of the most, and she apparently, to the point where Arnold was giving her props on that set. So I
had seen Sharon at an event recently, in an awards event, and I could see she was in great shape. And I knew that Connie Nielsen, just to bring Connie into this too, I knew that Connie has trained and can fight, can do screen fighting.
Wow.
Well, she's in Gladiator
of course.
And other things too, but she's done a lot of screen fighting. So I really wanted both of them to show off their skills. Not to mention, a lot of women loved Nobody 1. And I thought they got to be represented in Nobody 2.
They felt that familial desperation that you talk about in it. Yeah. I could definitely feel that. True or false? The final scene of the 1985 film Police Story, starring Jackie Chan, earned the film the nickname Glass Story by the crew due to the huge number of panes of sugar glass that were broken.
Yes.
True.
I think it's made of sugar. I don't think you can eat it, but it's like compressed sugar. And so it shatters, and it doesn't have sharp edges when it shatters, but it looks just like glass when it shatters. It doesn't quite look exactly like glass if you try to aim a camera through it. It's a little murkier. But leaving that aside, in Police Story, the final scene in a mall is just like tons of candy glass getting broken.
He just like goes through them in like order. He's like, boom, and then another one, and another one, and another one. Yeah.
I think when you do it that many times, it's probably a little dangerous. He did so much stuff that was genuinely dangerous. He broke his neck. He fell through. He tried to fall through 3 awnings from like a 4th story building, and with the notion that the awnings would break his fall. But you got to do the physics, man. You got to get out the calculator, because yes, they break your fall, but they also push you a little further each time out. And so even though the awnings got bigger each time, I think they did, well, they should have. By the time he got to the first floor balcony awning, the second floor awning, the lowest one, he was hitting just the railing on the edge of the awning, and he broke his neck. Oh, man.
And then I remember one of the films, he broke his foot and then just put a like booty over the broken foot and then kept going. I was like, no, this is when you stop production. But he was like, no, we got to keep going. It's absolutely.
Nah, man, he's great. And action scenes are as much fun to shoot as sitting in a writer's room, in a comedy writer's room. That's what I learned from Nobody Won. So I spent 25 years writing comedy, and mostly writing sketch comedy, because that's just what I love. But still, action oftentimes takes itself very seriously to a comical extent. You know, having in the first film, in the bus, there was this long monologue when I turned around to face the bad guys. It was like a page long, very long monologue. And I was very wary of it, and it was a bit grandiose. And I'm very close with the writer, Derek Kolstad, who wrote Nobody Won and Nobody Two, and wrote all the John Wick franchise. And I said, I didn't learn that monologue, because I was like, we got to shorten this. I can't be doing all this talk. We've built up this guy's frustration and tension, all this for like 18 minutes of the film. He's done nothing but be disappointed and frustrated and told no and shut down. And so there we are the night we're filming, and I don't want to say this long monologue. It's too long. And the director goes, can you just say, I'm going to fuck you up to these guys? And I go, oh boy, that is perfect. That's all I want to hear from this guy right now. Called Derek Kolstad. He goes, oh, that's perfect. Just say that. But that's funny.
Yeah.
That's funny because it's so short and it's so blunt, and it's such a declaration of commitment and maybe naivete. And so it has its own humor. But the real thing that felt most familiar to me in making Nobody and now Nobody Two is when you do action sequences. They're little comedy sketches. They're little 2 to 5 minute long things where I'm going to push this and it's going to hit that, and then you're going to fall back, and then I'm going to roll over, and oh wait, we can't do that because I knocked this over, and then that's in the way, and we have to change our choreography, and we have to work together. And when we do it, we laugh. I'm telling you. I mean, in the elevator fight in Nobody Two, when I take that guy and I go, I whack him across the face and his teeth fly out and hit the wall, blood. The director says, cut. Everyone laughs.
Oh, wow.
Every time. I can't believe you did that. Oh my God, that looks so perfect. Oh my God, the blood hit just at the right second. You know, and oh boy, I almost hit you. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. No, it's okay. I'm fine. Go again.
Did we get the shot?
You know, it's a group of people. They're all concentrating on these moments. They got to make these moments happen, and they've got to work together, and they've got to make adjustments, you know, and it's a joyful, you know, effort to make that thing work out just right. And when it does, you can't believe it, and you're thrilled. And I want this in my life. just as much as I want to be in a writer's room making jokes, I want to be on a set with 5 people and we go, you step here and you go there and that didn't work, so watch out. And, and then you make it work and you can't believe you made it work.
I love that. We're going to get to the last question.
Okay.
True or false? Nobody 2 is director Timo Tjahjanto's first English language film and his first studio film.
Yeah, it's true.
So crazy that it is true because he's so completely talented that you have to know that he's done a ton of stuff prior to this.
I am so lucky in both these films to be surrounded by people who know and love and have studied action and horror and their aspect of whatever it is, whether it's Derek Kolstad writing these movies, David Leitch and Kelly McCormick producing them, Timo Tjahjanto now directing Nobody 2 and blowing up the vision bigger than we ever imagined it, making it more fun and darker both, weaving the story into a thicker, richer story than the first film. It is an elevation of the film. Nobody 1. It is a bigger universe. I've traveled a lot of places since Nobody 1. I climbed Machu Picchu with my friend David Cross. Wow. I went to Peru. I went to Mexico City. I went to Ireland. I went to Switzerland. I went to England, Paris. Nobody played around the world. And what I learned too was that it didn't just play to action fans. I'm very thankful that it did play to action fans because that is a group of people who love that genre and care about it and watch every movie and judge them against each other. It did play to action fans, but it played to lots of people who came up to me and said, I don't like action movies and I love Nobody 1. I never watched those movies and I love Nobody. And I wanted a movie that played to, and Nobody 2, I wanted it to play to them again, to a wider audience that maybe they don't feel like they can connect to the scenarios of action movies where usually it's just a lone guy who's really, really angry at the world and doesn't have the context of family and common life tensions that the Nobody 1 film has and Nobody 2 hopefully has as well. And so I think my desperation was to build this bigger, and Universal allowed for it and supported it, and Timo Tjahjanto liked it and went for it. And the fact that we can have a film like Nobody 2 where within the context of bigger, darker action, there's also a Jackie Chan fight on a duck boat that is funnier and lighter and has comedy within it is awesome to me. It's what I dreamed of.
And we get to see you in all of your vacation gear.
Yeah, come on, man. Look at that guy. And the best thing to me is that he's always so beat up.
Yeah, they put you through the makeup
but
on
know how many dads and moms take their kids on a vacation and it's sunny, it's nice, but when they come home, they feel like that.
Yes. That's a perfect description.
That's me on the way home. I think I just got my ass handed to me.
One more thing before we get you out of here. We got to do rapid fire questions.
Okay. I'm never good at rapid fire.
Well,
I'm good at rambling.
Your favorite movie snack?
Oh, popcorn.
Just
I
by
always
itself?
get a medium for me, nobody else. And I love it when they have the alternate salts.
Oh, okay.
Whether it's salt and pepper or garlic or whatever.
I dig. Last show you binged watched?
The Studio.
That's a good one.
The Studio.
How did you feel watching that one?
I loved it.
Yeah.
Absolutely loved it.
It feels therapeutic for movie people,
Yeah.
I think. Going to movie theater alone, yes or no?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'll go to the movie theater alone, for sure. In some ways I might enjoy it more. If I make my wife go to a movie I think she's not going to like, that sucks. Because now I am dragged down by that.
I get it.
You know?
Filmmaker or actor that you'll always show up for?
I like Leonardo DiCaprio's willingness to commit and look ugly and like Killers of the Flower Moon, he played kind of a dumb guy. And like a lot of leading men are not willing to
look like that. Your favorite classic Universal film?
The Blues Brothers?
Yes.
The Blues Brothers is a great movie.
Yes.
Great movie. And it's one of the films I watched with my kids. I bring this up because my kids actually didn't like watching movies. They were too long. So the movies that we did watch, The Blues Brothers, Police Story, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles, these were special things that they felt entertained by for the entire film.
Wow. Well, I'm glad you got them to watch them.
Yeah.
And then your favorite action movie of all time, I guess, Police Story.
I'm going to go with Police Story. It's the one I've seen the most. It has the most inventive fighting in it. That is also like kind of shocking fighting. Like it makes you, like, holy shit, that would hurt. It's just got a great spirit to it. It has great comedy in it too. There's the scene with the telephones.
Yeah.
That's great comedy.
Jackie was an equally good comedian as he was a martial artist, which was the craziest thing.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much for being here.
Happy to be here.